Good evening. The October 11th, 2022 Liquor Board hearing is now in session. And we'll go right to the approval of the minutes. The board has all meetings transcribed, which serve as minutes for the hearings. The board keeps such minutes stored electronically, and they're available to review by calling the board for an appointment. I now make a motion that the transcripts of the previous board hearings held on August 16th and September 13th, 2022 be accepted as the board minutes for that date. And I ask for a second. The motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion's carried. I'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Praley for announcements.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jimmy Praley. I serve as counsel to the board. At the beginning of every meeting, I make a few brief announcements. The first is the commissioners before you tonight are part-time public servants. They all have other outside interests. So when they know they have a conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict of interest, the commissioner or the commissioners, as the case may be, will recuse themselves. However, due to the number of cases that come before the board at every given meeting and due to the ability of the public to show up and protest or speak in favor of, it'd be impossible for the commissioners to know whether they would have a conflict on each and every given matter that may come before the board. So if your case is called and you believe that a commissioner or commissioners has a conflict of interest, we ask that you raise that conflict when your case is called. And at that point in time, the commissioners will address the conflict accordingly. If not, we'll proceed forward with every case under the assumption that there is no conflict of interest. Second for tonight, the rules of this board provide that the chair, for the purposes of administrative and judicial economy, can have the board's counsel rule on the admissibility of evidence and objections. As I said previously, the board handles many cases at every hearing, so this assignment allows us to expedite the hearings. So sometimes if an objection is made or there's discussion over whether or not particular pieces of evidence should be admissible, instead of the chairman turning to me then advising the chairman, I'll simply make a ruling, and that ruling will be that of the board and the chair. Finally, renewals are coming up faster than we know it. So as has been customary and the policy of the board and its administration, we're unable to process new licenses and transfers between February 28th and May 1, 2022, because that is the renewal period. So if you have a request for a new license or a transfer, we would ask that you have all of your paperwork filled out and provided to the board prior to February 28th, 2023, so that we will be able to make that happen. With that, I will turn it over to Chief Inspector Harris, who can read the first case and call it. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Praley. Good evening, everybody. The first case is Ushi Japanese Cuisine, Starfish LLC. Kwok Wing Wong, Managing Member. David Kuan Yi, Member. Inspector Mary Deschamps. This is no restrictions. This is a transfer. Excuse me. Currently, Chung Kong Yi, Member, and David Kuan Yi, Member. On behalf of Ushi Japanese Cuisine, 1450 Ritchie Highway, Unit 107, Arnold, Maryland, 21012. This is a Class H license for beer, wine, and liquor, and Sunday license privileges. Anyone wishing to testify for or against, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you solemnly declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Please state your name and address for the record, and you can have a seat.
Okay, my name is David Yi, and the address is 1450 Ritchie Highway, Arnold, MD 21061.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am?
My name is Kwok Wong. My address is, my home address is 5321 Harvey Lane, Ellicott City.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, J.U. representing the applicant, Starfish LLC, and Ms. Wong and Mr. E.
All right, thank you, Mr. Yu. We'll turn it over to you now to present your case to the board. You can do so by way of testimony, proffer, or a combination of both. But the floor is yours, sir.
If I may, I'd like to proffer.
Sure.
Mr. E is the owner, current owner, and he's selling the business to Ms. Wong, which is the Starfish LLC. Mr. E will be remaining as 1% owner and resident agent licensee, since she's not a resident of Arundel County. And Mr. E obviously is a current licensee. During the time that he was the manager or owner, there were no violations to my knowledge. And Ms. Kwok Wong also has 15 years of experience managing and operating a restaurant and also being in charge of the beverage. So she's very familiar with the rules and regulations for both Montgomery County and Arundel County. She has been tip certified for past 10 years. Under her watch, there were no instances whatsoever pertaining to the violations of any kind. And she has 15 years of experience, again, as I stated, in operating and running a business. And now she's ready to go on her own and start her own business. So that's why we're here today. It's a Oishi restaurant, which is a Japanese cuisine type of restaurant. So that's pretty much, and both Mr. E and Ms. Wong are persons of good moral characters. They have no criminal records whatsoever.
All right, thank you, Mr. Yu. Mr. Chairman, any
Yeah.
questions?
How long has the restaurant been open? Kurt?
About 7
8 years.
8 years? Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions, Mr. Chairman?
No.
Commissioner Duffy, any questions?
No question.
Commissioner Snoops? No questions. Mr. Yu, anything you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
I have no questions, but I'll make a motion that we grant the license for the transfer, if you will. And I ask for a second.
I second the motion to transfer.
The motion is second. Is there any comments or additional questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're excused. The next case, Compass Point. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Eckengast.
Anyone wishing to testify for or against, please come forward, remain standing, and raise your right hands. Okay. Do you solemnly declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay. Please have a seat. If you would, this gentleman to my left can start with his name and address for the record.
Michael Seneca, 3409 Foster Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224.
Thank you.
George McCauley, 9090 Fort Smallwood Road, Pasadena, Maryland, 21122.
Thank you.
Jeff Hansen, 1607 East Kathleen Road, Phoenix, Arizona, 85022.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Leanne Schreckengoss with Royston, Miller, McLean, and Reed here on behalf of the applicants.
All right, Ms. Schreckengoss, we'll turn it over to you. Present your case by way of proper testimony or a combination of both. The floor is yours.
I'm going to proceed by way of proffer. Thank you very
Fantastic.
much. As indicated, we are here for a change of officer. The gentleman to my right, Jeffrey Hansen, is replacing Peter Hill as the 90% member and authorized person on this liquor license. The operation of the golf course and its facilities is not changing as a result of this officer change. It's simply an officer change for the licensing purposes. Mr. Hansen, who's seated to my right, as I indicated, is the executive vice president and general counsel for Troon, which is the company that operates the golf course. He has received a copy of this board's rules and regulations and is well aware of his responsibilities as a licensee. He understands that he would have to answer to you for any violations that might occur at the golf course. With that, I turn it over to the board if you have any questions.
Yeah, what was the name of the company?
Troon. Troon.
Okay. Troon, and what relationship does Troon have with the county? Is it?
They're the ones who actually, the county has hired to manage the golf
Okay.
course, and this is the licensed entity, so they,
Okay.
yeah.
Great. No questions.
Commissioner Duffy, any questions?
Yes, are you planning on changing the hours of the golf course?
They are not.
None whatsoever. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Snoops? No question. Ms. Schreckengoss, anything you want to add?
Nothing further.
All right. Mr. Chairman?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we grant the request for change of officer and look for a second.
I second the motion.
Motion to second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion's carried.
Thank
Good
you
luck,
very much.
congratulations.
Thank you, you're excused. Next case, Preserve at Eisenhower Golf Course.
Waive reading.
Thank you, Mrs. Schreckendorf. Anyone wishing to testify for or against, please come forward, remain standing, and raise your right hands. Do you solemnly declare under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay. Please state your name and address for the record.
Edward Ruiz, 7016 Clinton Court, Annapolis, Maryland,
Thank
21403.
Thank you.
Desmond Jones, 384 Willett Court, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146.
Jay McGrath, 7160 East Kierland Boulevard, Scottsdale, Arizona, 85254.
Okay, thank you. You can have a seat.
Again, for the record, Leanne Schreckengast on behalf of the applicants.
All right, Ms. Schreckengast, you can begin your presentation, please.
Thank you very much. In this case, we are here to actually change both of the licensees on this liquor license for the Eisenhower Golf Course. Jay McGrath, the gentleman seated to my right, is replacing Joseph Livingood as the 90% member and licensee for this location, and Desmond Jones, gentleman two down from my right, is replacing Teresa Manis as the 10% member and licensee for this location. This location is also managed by Troon with the county, and Mr. McGrath is the chief legal officer for Troon. So he's going to be stepping into those shoes. He too has received a copy of this board's rules and regulations and understands that as a licensee, he would have to answer to any of you for any violations that might occur at the golf facility. So with that, I turn it over to the board for any questions.
Mr. Chairman, any questions?
Why not? One question. The course was opened recently, I would say, maybe a year ago, or, you know, time flies. They've remodeled the whole thing. I'm just curious how things are.
Turn that over to the
On the
general
food and
manager to
beverage
ask those
side.
questions for you.
It's very active.
Is it?
Yeah, we have, I would say, an average of 200 rounds per day.
That's active, yeah.
High volume sales in all aspects.
Is there a plan to rebuild the clubhouse, or?
Yes, the architect has been commissioned at this point. And I think they're continuing to modify some of the plans and possibly break ground within 15 months.
Okay. No other questions?
Commissioner Duffy, any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Snoops? No questions. Ms. Schreckengast, anything you'd like to add?
Nothing further.
Mr. Chairman?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we grant the change of officer request, and I look for a second. Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. You're all excused. Next case, the Firkin Flyer.
Waive reading.
Host, thank you very much. Anyone wishing to testify for or against, please come forward, remain standing, and raise your right hands. Okay, do you solemnly declare, under the penalty of perjury, that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please have a seat. State your name and address for the record.
Torrey Ridgeway, 820 Long Drive, apartment 244, Aberdeen, Maryland, 21001.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Persh, 47587 Woodborough Terrace, Sterling, Virginia, 20165.
Thank you.
Again, for the record, Leanne Schreckengast on behalf of the applicants.
All right, thank you, Ms. Schreckengast. We'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. How would you like me to proceed, since the testimony for these first two and then the last three are going to be the same, because it's the same entity? Can we adopt them both for the record?
Yeah, we can adopt them both. I just want to make sure that we're very clear for the record which one's which,
got it.
just in case the unlikely event somebody decides to appeal this out there.
Completely understand.
All right, thanks.
Certainly. And I would like to thank the board initially for excusing the other two applicants in this case. They, along with Mr. Persh, currently hold 2 liquor licenses already at BWI, so they've all been approved and vetted by this board as fit and proper people. So thank you for allowing them to be excused. And Tori Ridgeway is the Director of Operations for this company, so in case there's any operational questions, she's here to answer those for the board. But Host International, Inc. is taking over the operation of the Firkin Flyer. They will be, and I'm sure the board's probably familiar with HMS Host. They're a very large corporation here in Maryland. They are the ones running these concessions at BWI. So there's 5 locations that they're taking over at the airport. The operation of the individual locations is not changing. It will be staying the same. Mr. Persh, who's sitting to my right, is the Vice President and Associate General Counsel for Host International, Inc. The other two gentlemen are also Executive Vice Presidents, and one's the General Counsel and CFO for Host International. So they are all very well aware of these board's rules and regulations and their responsibilities as licensees. As I indicated with respect to the Firkin Flyer, the operation is not changing, the name is not changing, it's just the licensees that are changing. I will tell the board that Host participates in the Serve Safe program for their alcohol awareness training from the state level, and they card anyone who orders alcohol. So with that, I turn it over to the board for any questions you might have.
Mr. Chairman, any questions?
Question, the Firkin Flyer, what type of food are you serving along with alcohol?
It's a general American cuisine.
Cuisine?
Yep.
Okay. No other questions?
Commissioner Duffy, any questions? No. Commissioner Snoops?
No questions.
Mr. Chairman?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the transfer of the license, and I look for a second.
I second the motion.
The motion is seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Waive reading.
Okay, same participants, they've already been sworn in,
Yeah,
Mr. Fraley, so.
That's absolutely fine.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Eckengast, I'm assuming the testimony would effectively be the same, but for the fact that this is a different location. Is there anything you want to add from the testimony that they just gave? for
Yes, the
Firkin
only
Flyer?
thing I
Sure.
would like to add for the testimony is that in addition to the licensee change, they're also changing the trade name. So it's
Okay.
changing from La Carnita Taqueria to La Cocina Mexicana. So that is the other change that is being made at this time. Other than that, the testimony is the same.
Mr. Chairman, any questions about this change?
No, I have no questions.
Commissioner Duffy, any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Snoops? No questions. All right, Mr. Eckengast, anything you want to add?
Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Chairman?
Make a motion, we go ahead and approve the transfer,
I
and
second.
I look for a second. Second?
Second.
Only when I ask. We're not rushing it here.
Not even.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to make the announcement, or?
Waive reading.
Okay, O'Brecky's BWI.
Thank you very much. Again, the same applicants. In this case, we have a different entity that's taking over the next three, which would be O'Brecky's, the R&R Seafood Bar in A concourse, the R&R Seafood Bar at the DE concourse. This entity is Host CRC BWI FB LLC. It is still being run by HMS Host. It's just a different entity set up for these three locations. So again, other than that, the testimony would be identical. It's the same three licensees as we heard from the first two matters.
Mr. Chairman, any questions about O'Bricky's?
No questions about O'Bricky's, but curious, when this is all said and done, how many will you be managing at BWI roughly?
7.
7? Everything's being changed? There's no more than the 7 then?
Correct.
Okay. All righty. No questions.
Commissioner Duffy, any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Snoops?
No questions.
Okay, Mr. Chairman?
I go ahead and make a motion that we approve the transfer, and I look for a second.
I second the motion.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Okay, thank you. Next case, R&R Seafood Bar A concourse.
Waive reading.
Thank you. Same participants, Mr. Fraley.
All right, Mr. Eckengast, go right ahead.
This is the identical testimony to the prior. Note the operation of the locations are not changing, same applicants, same procedures, same carding policy, and same alcohol awareness training.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Duffy?
No questions.
Commissioner Snoops, any questions? No questions. All right, Mr. Chairman.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the transfer, and I look for a second.
I second the motion.
The motion is seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion is carried. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. Next is R&R Seafood Bar D and E.
Waive reading.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Eckengast, anything to add that hasn't already been said?
No additional testimony. Oh, I will offer, since you asked, Mr. Chair, the other two locations at BWI are Bricks and Vine and Flying Dog Tap House. Those are the other two locations that they currently manage at BWI
Okay.
Airport.
Any questions, Mr. Chairman?
No questions.
Commissioner Duffy, any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Snoops?
No questions.
All right, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I go ahead and make a motion that we approve the transfer, and I look for a second.
I'll second the motion.
The motion is seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The motion is carried.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
bet.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Next case, Miller's Ale House. Miller's Ale
reading.
House. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone wishing to testify for or against, please come forward, remain standing, and raise your right hands. Okay, do you solemnly declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please have a seat. State your name and address for the record.
James Scott Kohler, 250 Highlander Drive, Glen Burnie, Maryland, 21061.
Michael Blair, 13508 Lake Magdalene Drive, Tampa, Florida, 33613.
Leanne Schreckengoss with Royston, Mullen, McLean, and Reed here on behalf of Miller's Ale House.
All right, thank you. Mr. Eckengast, we'll turn it over to you. You can present your client's case by way of testimony, proffer, or a combination of both.
Thank you very much. I'm going to proceed by way of proffer. So this is an application on behalf of Miller's Ale House of Anne Arundel County, LLC, for a new Class B license. This is going in at the old Romano's Macaroni Grill location on Jennifer Road. So the location's already been deemed to be a fit and proper location based on that prior license. But so seated to my immediate right is Mr. Michael Blair. He's the CFO of Miller's Ale House. And seated to my far right is Scott Kohler. He is going to be serving as the Maryland resident licensee. Both of them are owners and members of Miller's Ale House of Anne Arundel, LLC, as well as authorized persons. The Miller's Ale House concept, it's a sports-themed casual dining restaurant. They have 90-plus restaurants in over 10 states. They're known for their famous buttermilk-drenched, hand-breaded, boneless chicken zingers. They serve a wide variety of entrees, burgers, salads, and sandwiches, plus weekly lunch and dinner specials in a lively atmosphere. They have about 35 beers on tap and a wide variety of specialty cocktails. You should have a copy of the menu in your file. This location will have seating capacity for 223. 21 of those are at bar stools. We've applied for Sunday sales and entertainment, and the entertainment is only for the purpose of the number of TVs that they will have in the location. There's no other live entertainment that will be had at the location. The proposed hours of operation are from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. daily, and they expect to have approximately 100 employees. The employees who are involved in the sale or service of alcohol all undergo the Serve Safe alcohol from a state perspective, and Miller's Ale House actually has its own internal alcohol awareness training class that all employees go through as well. They have a carding policy to card anyone who appears under the age of 40, and they will be hoping to open end of January of 2023. So with that, I turn it over to the board for any questions you may have.
All right, thank you. Mr. Chairman, any questions?
Yeah, just a couple things. You've opened 2023. Are you making any major changes to the building itself?
Yes, the building no longer exists. We've
The
demolished.
building, no wonder I missed it.
Pretty big changes. Yeah.
I should get out more often.
I took some pictures earlier.
Well, that answers my question. No other questions.
Commissioner Duffy, any questions?
No, I just want to thank you for stating the operation hours.
Commissioner Snoops, any questions? Mr. Eckengast, anything you want to add?
Nothing to further.
All right, Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to make a motion that we grant the license, and I look for a second.
I second the motion.
Motion is seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. You're done with me now. Have a wonderful evening.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thank you for your help. Okay, next case, Lothian Beverage Company, Hitching Post Spirits, LLC. Kevin M. Eldon, member, Joanna E. Ricker, member, and Amy M. Ricker, member. This is a new license located at 5078 Solomon's Island Road, Lothian, Maryland, 20711. The license is for a Class A beer, wine, and liquor, beer and wine tasting, growler, and Sunday license. Anyone wishing to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly declare, under the penalty of perjury, that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, please state your name and address. We'll start.
Amy Ricker, 5 Romar Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
Thank you.
Johanna Ricker, 318 Riding Ridge Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
Thank you.
Kevin Eldon, 6 President Point, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
Thank you. Mr. Prater.
All right, thank you, Mr. Harris. Mr. Eldon, my understanding is you're going to be presenting the case for the applicants tonight?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Just before we get started, I'm going to state for the record that we haven't received any opposition for this license. And is there anybody here from the public who is opposed to this license? Okay. All right, I just wanted to make that clear before you can begin your presentation. So,
Thank you.
Mr. Eldon, you have the opportunity now to present your case to the board. You can do so by way of proffer, testimony, or a combination of both, but we'll turn it over to you. Once you're done, we'll see if the board members have any questions, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Again, my name is Kevin Eldon. I'm an applicant for the Class A liquor license. This is a new store. It's a new project in South County in Lothian called the Hitching Post. We're making application on behalf of Hitching Post Spirits. We're going to operate as Lothian Beverage Company. We want to run a first-class liquor store selling beer, wine, and liquor to the community. Our hours of operation, we intend to be 10 to 8. We will employ approximately probably 5 to 10 folks from the community in the store, both stocking, checkout. We plan to do wine tastings as well, so we'll offer that on a sort of a limited basis. As far as our operation, we will have a manager of the store. Our card policy, we intend to card anybody under the age of 30. Our point of sale system will have a scan for IDs as well. All our folks will obviously go through training. The store right now, I think we're scheduled to open probably the first quarter of 2023, obviously pending the issuance of the license. There is no building right now. It's under construction, so I think it's going to be completed hopefully by the end of this year to allow us to start the build out. So with that, if there's any questions for the board.
All right, let's see, Mr. Chairman, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I was just curious. What, let me just ask the potential effect your store might have on other stores.
So right now, the closest store to the north would be in Edgewater, and the closest store sort of to the south or west would be Duffy's in Wason's Corner. Duffy's is basically a shell of itself, so we don't really consider that to be an issue. Ours will be a much, it'll offer more products, and it's a nicer location. As far as the effect on Edgewater, I mean, we have traffic counts on the coming south on Route 2, approximately like 10 to 11,000 cars a day drive by that site. They'll still have opportunities to drive through Edgewater and stop if they will, but they can also, we're right off Route 2 on the circle, so we'll be convenient. And we'll also, be a better local option for those folks who live within a 5 to 8 mile radius.
Okay. Do you have a percentage of what you will be selling within that store, beer, wine, and spirits?
I don't know if we have a percentage. It's really going to be based on demand, and given the fact that that location this is the only really commercial center within several miles of there, so there's no real comparison. We want to focus on wine. I would say higher end, if you will, but we think the local community will kind of dictate to us what our products are going to be.
So you think 50% wine and?
That-
2020?
That's reasonable. I mean, I
Okay.
could say probably
I
more
don't-
wine than beer or liquor. Probably wine, beer, liquor.
Okay. That's, no other questions.
Commissioner Duffy, any questions regarding this new application?
Yes, I just have one question. In reference to your ID, you said that you stated you would ID anyone under 30 years old. Do you have any idea as to how you would ID these individuals? What type of application would you have?
Well,
Machine would you have
Yeah, we're gonna,
installed?
we'll have a, part of our point of sale system will have a scanner. So it'll have a software that we will take the ID, obviously, if the individual looks under 30, scan the ID, and it comes up whether or not it's, one, a valid ID, and then two, obviously the age. I think it has, in fact, like a red, green, and yellow lights as to the age limit. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
As long as we know that you have a scanner for
Yes.
ID purpose.
Yeah.
Commissioner Snoops, any questions?
No questions.
All right, Mr. Eldon, anything you want to
Yeah,
add?
I have,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to go back,
Mr. Chairman.
sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to, when we look at approving a Class A license, there's certain criteria that has to be met. And it looks like you have met that criteria, but grounds for denying an application, there's also criteria that has to be met. And I was just curious as to, and don't take offense of this, but are the applicants fit to receive the license? Maybe they can talk to me about their fitness.
Certainly. I mean, just a little bit of professional background. I've been a licensed attorney in Maryland for 16 years now. Practice in Annapolis. Do a lot of business in the county, South County. No discipline issues to date, knock on wood. So I feel like this is going to be a business opportunity to allow us to serve the community, employ the community. As far as the other applicants, feel free to speak, but Ms. Ricker is a teacher actually at Southern High School.
Okay.
And
I'm a nurse practitioner. Oakland.
Okay.
so we all have sort of longstanding ties to the community, and we want to, it's going to be, honestly, we're going to be proud of the store. It's, I don't have the renderings in front of me, but, it's nice architecture, fits in with the area, and we want to sort of complement the other stores and the other businesses in that area. So we're looking at this as a long-term investment, and, we think it'll be well received in the community.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly.
No other questions?
Commissioner Duffy, Commissioner Snoops, do you have any further questions?
No.
No questions.
Mr. Eldon, anything you want to add?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the license, and I'm looking for a second.
I second the motion.
The motion is seconded, and all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion is approved.
Thank you.
Congratulations and
Thank
good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your time and your efficiency.
Yeah. Yeah. The hearing is now, what is it? Closed. Thank you.